Okie dokie, let's start this thing. And we're live. Hey everybody, Adrian here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel for some Astellia. Now, I've been streaming this thing on Twitch pretty much the whole past week since Head Start began. And I've been leveling, which is kind of why, like, I had 3 videos planned this week. I canned all of them because I wanted to get this out of the way. And just to give you guys a little bit of info here, I'm in the ArcAge Unchained sort of media pass thing, which means PDS is coming early for us, and I needed to get on that as soon as possible, so I needed to get Astellia out of the way. So here I am, level 50, have been for about a day and a half, and I wanted to talk a little bit about endgame stuff, what happens at level 50, what opens up for you, what can you do. But before that, hey to everybody in chat, there's a lot of you here, and we're having a little chat with each of you guys. By the way, if you have any questions at all about the leveling experience in Astellia, it's going to be about maybe a week or so before my full review. 10 Reasons to Play or Avoid Astellia comes out, so between now and then, when I'm working on it, I won't have much time to interact with you guys in stream and whatnot, so if you got questions, ask away. So let me get straight to some of the stuff in chat. Daniel, hey Daniel, says, do you like Astellia? That's a good way to start off the stream, right? So the leveling experience and everything else, from the story to the combat system, the whole companion Astels system thing, it blends together in a way that feels, for lack of any sort of better word out there for the MMO industry, generic. The one thing that it does do to stand out is basically how your companions sync their skills and their deck builds with yours, and I'll talk about that in a sec because it is related to the end game sort of progression here in terms of how you're going to grow your character past level 50, because there is no horizontal progression, everything's vertical and the grind is real. So yeah, keep those questions coming. Let me just see if there's any other questions that I missed. Infinite is watching from work Saturday. Damn, dude. I know how you feel. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the character sheet real quick. So at level 50, a bunch of things are going to happen. The first is the grind for gear, which you will get started on, regardless if you want to or not, because there's dungeons to run, there's weekly and daily quests to do, which all offers currency, and we'll go through some of that. But at level 50, doing some of the quests, you will get heroic gear, and gear progression comes in, well, pretty standard stages, I suppose. You got your uncommon to common, common, uncommon, rare, and then the heroic gear, and finally legendary gear, which is the best of the best. And of course there is an enhancing system. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, there is an enhancing system here with this icon, and then just drag and drop here. You can enhance some gear, like legendary, can go up to 10 levels, others up to 7, and 7 is the safe zone. Anything higher than 7, there is a chance to fail, and that consumes currency or materials like enhancement stones. Come on, where are you? Where are my enhancement stones? Are they not in my inventory? Well, they should be. Well, just trust me on that. So what I can do is, let me just drag that here. There you go. So I have 44,000 armor enhancement stones, and then you've got them for weapons and accessories too. So that is one part of your gear progression to make yourself stronger. You want to enhance your main stats, so warriors, constitution, health, strength for physical attack, and all that stuff. Stat points, basically you can increase each of your main stat 5 times. So I've already done for strength, I can't go any higher than 5, so that's taken me to like plus 12.8%, and then for the rest I can just pick and choose. Now, like I said, legendary gear is going to be the top of the line stuff, right? So how do you get legendary gear? First of all, run dungeons. Dungeons at level 50 opens up a bunch. So most of these dungeons, all this stuff, Hall of Equality, the Basin, Temple of Blessings, you will encounter them in the main story, which you'll have to do it the first time in something called a scenario, which is basically you play through it solo, the difficulty is nothing, you can breeze through it regardless of your class. And once you've done the scenario version, The normal solo and party ones unlock, and each of them will have the different gear that drops. So at level 50, you've got 3 to run: Sansara Fortress, Underground Sanctum, Ashmal Laboratory. Now all of these take more tickets than any other of the lower level dungeons, and shit, I'm at 24 out of 24. I should probably spend some. So we'll jump into one pretty soon, and there's your chance to get legendary gear. Otherwise, there's a crafting system too, which I did not touch in my Head Start stream. I did pick Gathering, and this one is a bit of a pain. Astellia's crafting system is really tedious, but at least it's easy to understand. Tedious in the sense that you will spend a lot of time gathering materials, and sometimes for collections or map completion stuff, which is also part of the end game. It's very similar to maybe games like Lord of the Rings Online, if you guys ever played that. So you can only pick one gathering skill out of 5. I think there's herbology, there's logging, metal mining, archaeology, and I forgot the other one. You have to reset and go back and check. For crafting though, you have access to everything. Chef, all these stuff you can max out pretty much. But since you're only tied to one gathering skill, you'll have to rely on other materials either from the auction house or trade with your other players or your guild members, or you gotta find a way to get it. Then you craft the basic components, and once you have that, you craft your main weapons. Now, for endgame, master crafting, guess what? You can try your luck at high-end gear, and you may get legendary too. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I did see some of the outputs. Level 50, let's see. Yep, you can craft legendary gear, but it's going to be a sort of like a rare chance to get it. And if you do, congratulations. If not, then there's other ways of farming legendaries. Don't worry about it. Like I said, dungeons, or you can follow the post 50 sort of main quest line, which is what I'm on, and I'll talk about it in a sec. But let me just check in chat, see if there's any questions. We got J. Prerogative. Sorry if I get your name wrong. Says, is there a necromancer profession? No. The 5 professions are the warrior, scholar, the not sorcerer, the mage, assassin, and archer. That's it. Do they have more classes coming down the line? That's what everybody's asking in the forums. They'd like to see that. So hopefully, yeah. Let's see. Skirvin in chat says, how magic classes play? Like mage, healer, EDC? Is it flashy? It's not flashy. I mean, unfortunately, the combat system with Astellia, it's very, I want to say, static in a way. It can be engaging if you're playing a melee class. Like for me, I'm locked into position because most of your skills are combo based. For example, Chain Impale, most classes work this way. So this is your base skill, and then it executes like 2 more of your combo, and then that maybe puts a status effect on the enemy, which means the next skill, like Piercing Blade, will do more damage because you've implemented the combo previously. So you're locked in position and you can't move. Other classes, like I think the Archer is very mobile, and so that one's more flashy. Mages, I don't have one high enough level to tell you yet, but I think it's not. You have casting skills, and then you've got instantaneous skills that you can fire off. Those you can move around, so that makes it flashy. I hope that answers your question, but I should probably level a mage too. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Midichlorian says, does that sound like Blast Online? In a way, yeah. With Blast with the combo system, it sort of reminds me of that. The difference is, I think visually for Blast Online, for those of you that played it, your upper body sort of moves with the action, but your lower body doesn't. So it gives off that feeling like, okay, something's not right here. It's like, you know, a different rigged model for the physical character. It just looks wrong, feels wrong. I haven't gotten that in Astellia yet, which is a good thing, I suppose. Okay, keep those questions coming. I'll scroll up and read some more. Ugor says, is there a daily limit in the game for dungeons and runs? Yes. So dungeons are on a ticketing system. So I'm not sure if you can see at the bottom here, but let me just open up the dungeon panel with you. You get 20 tickets if you're not on the Norden's Favor. Norden's Favor is the optional subscription. This one comes with the pre-order bonus, and I believe you can buy it optionally in the cash store. I'll get to the price point in a bit, but this one gives you, I think, 4 additional tickets every day. So if you have Norden's Favor, that takes your tally up to 24. Some dungeons require, like at 50, dungeons requires 4 tickets. And then once you're in the dungeon, you can spend an additional 4 more tickets to get a 70% increase to boss loot drops. So that's a popular way for players to sort of farm gear and get legendary gear. But I've noticed even for myself, like the RNG is not in anybody's favor because I'm a warrior and most of the shit I get is not for my class, which is standard for MMOs. That always happens. So my first legendary drop was in fact for the archer class. It's right there, Odette armor, and I was pretty excited about that. I'm gonna save that for my archer, but this is a dungeon drop, and you'll notice that they have 4 stats: con, agility, wisdom, and strength. And why is it better? It's better because like your heroic armor usually comes in 2 stats, or at best 3. That's additional stats. As for other ways to get legendary armor, there's quests that you can do. I just completed a main quest chain post the main story that gave me a free legendary armor for your class. Now everybody can do this as long as you're level 50 and have completed the story. You will get a set of legendary armor and weapon for your class with the stats that's going to mean a lot to you. It's not going to give you shit stats. For example, I'm a warrior. It didn't give me any intelligence or wisdom, which is something that the casting magic classes use. The difference is it's all 8%, whereas dungeon drops could be, they could go up to like 9%, or you know, it's just different. 569 for CP, and that's the quest one, but the dungeon drop is like 607 CP. So I think there's a definite increase in the dungeon ones in terms of how much CP you get versus the quest ones. The problem is, for the armor, that quest chain, I can't show it to you now, but the objectives were to kill 300 mobs in the late game areas. Kill 100 orcs, kill 100 boars, or whatever, but 300 is the total that you need to kill to get this legendary armor. Now the next one I'm on is for the legendary weapon. You have a choice to pick between these 3, and the reason there's 3 is because each class will have 3 advanced subclasses, not released yet, will be coming I think a month after launch. Oh, thank you, Thonar. Thonar has just subscribed to the YouTube channel. Welcome aboard. And if you're watching the stream, welcome. So the 3 different options are for the 3 subclasses. Like for me, Warrior, Crusader, Gladiator, and Berserker. I pretty much made up my mind I'm going Berserker. But you can see the objectives here. Kill 200 of these Karagon bastards to get your horns, and then 200 of the next. So the total here is 600 mobs, in addition to the 300 I had already done for the armor. So if you want to farm, or if you don't want to farm legendary armor and weapons in dungeons, in other content, or crafted, then you got to go through this insane grindy quest. Total of 900 kills. I've done the armor one with my guild, so there was like 5 of us. We did it really quick. For the weapon one, I just don't know. Gosh, I don't know. Okay, any sort of questions in game? Daniel says, how's the PvP in this game? We are going to do that tonight because I've done things like the Coliseum. Let me just show you guys some activities here. So under the adventure panel, you've got 4 things to do in general in terms of content or group content. Coliseum is a horde mode, a wave mode. So it's PvE. You either can go in solo, you just pick your solo or party. You go in there and you just fight waves of mobs. In the middle of the arena, there's a crystal that has a health pool. That's your sort of base. You want to defend that from all the boss monsters and minions that come. It's almost like a MOBA game in a way, but you use your class skills and defend it. The faster you do it, and if nobody dies, and if your health hasn't depleted for your main crystal, you get ranks. And you will be on the leaderboard as you can see here. I believe I did this earlier today. This one consumes tickets as well. Coliseum tickets. I think they refresh every day at the daily reset. I've done a couple today, so I don't have any more tickets. I can't jump in. But I believe I'm still on the leaderboard. Yep, there it is. So that's me and my guilds. We are up there, number 1, S rank. That simply means as quick as possible, no deaths. And these reward you with currency that you can spend at different vendors. So that is Coliseum. Now, the other one is Dungeons, which is pretty standard. We already went through this. You can do them solo or party for all these drops, either gear and Astel cards, which is another form of progression, which I'll talk about soon. And then the third one is Avalon. Now, this is the RVR PvP mode. Guild Wars 2, World vs. World, Elder Scrolls Online, Alliance War, Dark Age of Camelot, RBR. It's not open yet. You get in at level 45. I think it's coming maybe a week or 2 weeks after launch. You just pick a faction, go in there, and just fight. So I can't show you guys this, and this will be a separate review once it comes out. And the final thing is the PvP Duel Arena. Now, I'm pretty disappointed by this because this is just go in there and kick some butt. Just try beat the other guy. There's no like battlegrounds, there's no special mode, there's no capture the flag, you know, just your typical MMO battleground. So what we're gonna do, let's go ahead and jump in real quick. Let's just do a quick match just to show you guys what PvP is like. I've not PvP'd in here yet. This one doesn't take any tickets, so let's go in solo. Oh shit, I'm still in my tank build. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna suck and die anyway, so whoever's in there is gonna kill me real quick. So that is gonna give me an opportunity to catch up with chat. Yeah, we'll get to your question soon, Daniel, about PvP. Jay says, this is a pay-to-play game, right? But they have elements of a sub to play on top of that. I don't know about this. So the elements of the sub, what you're talking about, well, we're matchmaking for PvP, right? So here we go, subscription. This is it, Norden's favorite. This costs 150 gems, which converts to about $15 US. Because Bina Cash, which is the premium currency up here, the B, I believe, let's see, 100 US is about 10,000 Bina Cash, or 1,000 Bina Cash. I think it's 10,000 Bina Cash. So that makes it 10 bucks for like 1,000 Bina Cash, and then you convert that to gems. So this is about 15 bucks, and that gives you the 20% increase to XP for players and Astels, which are companions. It reduces the recharge time for dungeon tickets, and gives you a Xander bonus as well to the various things that you do. Xander is a sort of premium currency that you can use to buy beeswax tokens, which unbinds bound items. Like, for example, the legendary item that I got. This is bound, so if I want to send it to my alt, if I want to put it on the auction house, I'm going to have to use, let's see, this thing, the beeswax token. Use that to unbound and sell it. Now, I think they don't sell this in the Xander shop, but you can get the heroic version, and that's what you can get with Xander. So yeah, if you're talking about this subscription, I think it's pretty popular with like Korean MMOs. I think they have that. Like even BDO has the what's it called, the Traveler's Package or something. You know, the orange backpack where you get extra stuff. Some other Korean MMOs have that as well. Now, if you're talking about the subscription to play the game, the $9 a month, that's new. They just added that because people didn't want to pay the 30 bucks up front just to check out the game. So, hey. Okay. Now, since I've never queued for PvP before, I don't know if I'm still in the queue or not. Am I in the queue? Okay, I'm not. Yeah, I am. It says, do you want to cancel? No, let's not cancel. So while we are waiting, any more questions, guys? Shoot them. Giannis, why do they limit dungeon runs? I think it's more to do with the fact about farming gear and maybe the health of the economy. But in a way that also doesn't make sense because you can recharge dungeon tickets in the store. Now I don't know if it's for money or not. Let's find out. So this, hitting the O button, this is the gem store. So this is the cash shop. This is what you have to convert real money into gems to buy. So I've gone through this already for the review section of my review, if that makes sense. And there's not a, it's not exactly sort of downright pay to win because it's mostly mounts and Astel skins and armor skins. So under functions, let's see, nope. Consumables, nope. Okay, so that means it is in the Xander only cash store, which you can open up by hitting the C key. Xander, of course, must be earned in game. There's no two ways about it. You cannot buy these currency with money at all. So it says here you get this for participating in the arena PvP or in Avalon or through achievements. The achievement system in here. I'm pretty sure it's here. There you go. So with Xander, this is how you recharge dungeon tickets. Right there. So if this was in the cash store, which you can buy for money, so let's say you depleted your 24 tickets for a legendary farm, you didn't get any, and you feel like crap, and you want to go do it again, thinking you can drop like $100 to $200 in the cash store to buy dungeon ticket refresh. You can't do it. You have to play the game, earn the Xander currency in order to do that. So it's probably for economy reasons that they did that, because like I said, people can unbind that stuff and sell it. Okay. Anonymous in chat, so the launch got delayed by a day, right? That is correct. It was supposed to launch yesterday, but I don't know. I think they just wanted, maybe not enough people bought the pre-order packs. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But the official launch is now in 8 hours, 8 p.m. EST. Come on, guys, pop, please. It's midnight here. It's Sunday morning already, but it's like Saturday noon, and I'm playing on the North American server, so judging by my leveling experience, there was quite a lot of people around. I just don't know. Maybe PvP takes a while to pop. I just saw that. Midicurrent says, try saying Pringles 3 times. Pringles, Pringles, Pringles. Sounds like sprinkles. Anonymous says, I saw something about server issues. Sucks, releases here somewhere around 3 a.m. Gosh, 3 a.m. Where are you? Server issues. EU has been getting a lot of crap. That's what I've seen so far following the game. Like, EU has had a lot of shit. They had their servers taken off more than NA. They've had the server restarts a couple of times. I was debating that. Like, I wanted to do EU, but I sort of had a feeling that EU was going to get shafted because they had a later launch date for Head Start compared to NA. Yeah, this waiting for a match is really putting me off. Okay, anyway, shall we talk about other progressions then? Let's do it. So, legendary gear and legendary weapons are the main gear stuff that you want to get. So that's a given. At level 50, you will be farming for legendary gear. No two ways about it. And then, on top of that, you want to get your runes. These are what you slot into your gear. So while I haven't equipped my legendary yet, I've just put in placeholders. So you can see there's like 5 different runes. They each do different things. So you want to play the RNG game and try to get the rune that you want. They drop from dungeons. You can buy boxes using in-game currency just to get an RNG drop. So for me, like a warrior, I'm probably going to go mostly HP or physical defense, that kind of thing. If you're a mage or a sorcerer? Scholar, see, I'm mixing up the two. Then you want to do maybe magic attack, magical crit, or MP, just to keep your MP flowing, because that sort of depletes a lot. And inventory space is a bitch. I'm just going to say it right up. There's no way for you to increase your back slots. So what you see on screen is what you get. And then you got to go deal with the storage manager. And to increase like 100 slots or whatever, it's going to cost you maybe $50 in-game cash. So that's that. Astels, let's talk Astels while we wait. So a very important part of Astellia are the Astels. What are they? These things are made from the stars, and because you are an Astellian, you have the power drawn from the stars themselves. So you can control these Astels, and you're the only one that can see them. All Astellians can. So you start off with Rhoda. Rhoda's the first companion that you start off. She's a tank, and she comes in at 1 star. Now I've got her up to 3 stars. How do you upgrade your Astels? Basically increase the SP. So they have 2 bars, the experience bar and the SP bar. Experience simply means their level. So Rhoda's level 50 with me. All you gotta do to make sure that you are leveling the Astels that you want is to put them on the hotbar at the bottom right. This is what you call a deck. And that's an important term. The SP, on the other hand, that increases if you get like a duplicate drop. So Rota, for example, if you run Ruthless Den, the first dungeon, maybe a gazillion times, you may get a 1-star Rota to drop. And if that happens, it's a duplicate which will add 10 points to your SP. So I am 10 points away from getting a 4-star Rota, which means better stats and all around just better utility stuff. So what happens then? The deck effect. Every Astel has something called deck effects. So by putting them on the deck down here, and if you combo them with other Astels that has the same effect, like Master Artisan for example, higher chance of critical success, and for some of them, like Miho, Concentrate, Reduce Casting Delay. There's one that's pretty popular right now. This one's pretty good. Leader, increase the XP that all Astels in the current deck gain, so everybody on that hotbar. What else? Rapid fire. Swift saviors. Swift savior is good because saviors are the rarest Astels that you can get in game. And they, unlike other Astels, which you can summon and have them be out for, you know, a long time, saviors only come out for maybe a minute maximum because they take a lot of AP when you summon them. So having Swift Savior means you can reduce their cooldown to 0 and things like that. There's another deck effect which increases the amount of AP recharge every second. So that way you can have more than one Astel out. The famous one is, there you go, Horseman. This one increases the movement speed when riding a mount. So, because all mounts in Astellia are the same slow speed, and you'll be traveling a lot back and forth in the zone, like for example, the level 50 zone is Athlon, and if you're not keen on teleportation between zones or between town hubs, it's a wide open space, and you want to move as fast as possible. So having that deck effect increase your mount speed, everybody's going to want that. Especially, I think, in Avalon, which is the RVR mode. Now, if you play games, again, Elder Scrolls Online, Alliance War, Guild Wars 2, World vs. World, moving around the map is key, and you want to move fast and quick with your guildmates or your party members, so having mount speed in there is going to be key. Unless they disable deck effects in PvP, I don't know. Holy shit, man, PvP, come on, let's pop. What the hell is going on? I'm gonna give it 10 minutes. If PvP doesn't pop, sorry, Daniel. We'll go do like a dungeon and let's try our luck with a drop because I want to spend some dungeon tickets here. I'm 24 out of 24. Alright, if you've got any questions at all, ask away. I am at 30 out of 33, so that means I've got 3 more Astels I've yet to collect. This bastard, Eligos, is the best Astel in terms of Savior, because he's powerful as heck. This is the one, so he costs 750 AP to summon, which means when you summon him, it almost automatically depletes your AP bar. An AP bar, gosh, I hope you can see it because it's really small. It's the 3rd bar down there. It's the orange bar. So just to give you guys an example, if I summon a second Astel, Ida, which is my main healer, watch the AP bar go down because the cost to have 2 Astels out, of course, increases. So it almost becomes like a strategy thing in certain fights, especially when you're solo or in PvP. Who do you bring out? What skills do they have that you want to use which synergizes with you? Because remember, some of your Astels have co-op skills. Okay, she doesn't have one. Okay, this one, Archer, has a co-op skill, so for each class the skill may be different. If I use Deafening Roar, then she's going to have a specific co-op skill that she'll instantly fire off whenever you do your skill. So that synergy between your player character class and your Astels is something I find interesting because it's something to master for all the content in the game, and me and my guild are having fun trying to decipher what works best for certain dungeons, if you're soloing, what works best for like PvP. So there's a lot to learn with Astels. Now the real grind is getting everybody up to like grade 4, which is the 4th star, because they take a ton of SP. So that means repeatedly grinding the same dungeons over and over and over again, hoping for a drop. Oh man, my first pack drop, and you get card packs for Astels. See, one of the key differences between the Korean version and the Western version is, in the Korean version, you can buy Astel card packs in the cash store. So, pay to win, right? You want the best Astels, you can pay like $1,000 to try and get them. In the Western version, they've completely removed that. You cannot buy Astel card packs. The only way to get them is through the achievement system. Alt-O brings up your achievements. Let's see, character growth. I remember getting a couple. Let's see, there you go. So, reaching level 40, that gives you an Astel card pack. It says normal, so this one just gives you like a 1 star out of the 34 available. This one in the Korean version can be bought freely for money, so there's that. That's one way they're removing pay to win. And my first drop from that card pack was Braga. Where are you? Yeah, this guy. My favorite, because he's powerful as hell, but it's super rare. Okay, questions. I'm gonna jump into the chat and answer some questions. Anonymous says, any idea if it's possible to preload the game as a subscription player? I don't think so, unfortunately. What you can do is, if you already have the launcher, assuming you have an account, you can try downloading the client and see if that lets you, like, install. Anonymous says, it's probably worth the $10 at least. Got the sub myself just to try it out. Yeah, that's totally what they were going for, because the $10... See, I think a lot of people were calling for, like, if you were going to try the game out for $10, and if you decided to buy it down the line, people want to see, like, $10 deducted from the overall price, because you've already paid that $10. So now if you want to purchase the game, just make it a flat 20 instead of 30. So that's what I've seen people calling for. I don't know if that'll happen or not. What I would like to see is sort of a trial. World of Warcraft has it, Final Fantasy 14 has it, most games has it. A level 20 trial maybe, level 15 trial up to the first dungeon, maybe a 3-day trial, 72 hours account trial, something like that to get people through the door, play the systems, get a feel for the game, and then spend the money. That would be nice. Okay, so if anybody just joined the stream, hey, I'm queuing for a PvP arena because I want to see what that's like. So while we wait, I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. Mr. Food Moon, can I run the game? I have an i5 6500 GTC 970. Yeah, you can. Yep, no problem. The one thing for you guys that are maybe, if you watch other streamers or videos and they look stuttery, or even if you watch my Head Start stream, a couple of things you want to turn off, like if you go under the advanced settings, get rid of all this crap. You don't need it. Without it, the game looks like a Terra or an Ion, which is probably fine, because most of the gameplay and systems in Astellia feels like it was made 7-8 years ago anyway, so you're not missing much. Bloom, lens effect, motion blur, post, you don't need any of this to play the game. Your FPS will be thankful for you, to you for doing this. Secondly, turn the shadow quality down. That is a real resource hog. You don't need that, and if you can handle the rest, go for it, but you don't really need to be playing at 5, because the game, even at the best settings, it just looks like any other Korean game. So honestly, turn some of the settings down, you won't have a problem. Lord Mockish, hi there, Adrian just joined. How's the leveling journey, and how does the game hold up with the big players of the genre in terms of polish and entertainment? Loaded question. Hey, Lord Mockish, long time no see, by the way. Leveling journey, 2 halves. The first 30 levels was a little boring in a way, because the story didn't do much for me at the time. It's sort of establishing characters, world building, who's the villain, why are you here, what are you doing, and why are you doing it. And a lot of the, I think I'm going to put it down to the localization. Some of the dialogue and the voiceovers are good, by the way. I actually like the voiceovers and the way that your Astels come in at the site there and just talk between each other to give you like a story recap. And you want that because I guarantee you, you're not going to be interested in the story dialogue that happens in those dialogue boxes. You're not going to be interested at all. It's just poorly done. Some of the stuff that you read there, that these NPCs are having a conversation with you, those are sentences and words that people don't use in daily conversation. Even in a fantasy world, it just doesn't sound right. Like, I remember this clearly. One NPC just, you know, after completing the quest, he was like, ha ha ha, full stop, like literally ha ha ha. I'm like, that's just so off-putting, you know. It's just localization, nah. So in a sense, that early story didn't do a whole lot for me. What kept me going was basically the dungeons, gear, class progressions, learning your class, and sort of, I think what made it interesting for me or engaging was putting together combos. So, for an example, what I have on my bar right now is a little condensed because I've hidden some skills behind combo chains, and you can do this by left-clicking on a skill slot or hotbar slot, and that opens up this sort of panel, and you can just drag and drop skills. So I've got the Chain Impale combo, and then right after that is my Piercing Strike. So it almost functions like a macro, but it's not, because you have to manually click the second skill to execute that chain that you've already created. So I kind of like that, just figuring out which skills work best with which skills, which one synergizes with what, and which companion has skills that maybe makes your attacks better or quicker or faster, with your existing combos. So learning all of that and putting that into practice in the leveling dungeons was what got me through. At about level 40 onwards, the story started to pick up because some of your companions, and I don't want to spoil the story here, guys, I don't want to spoil the story for you, but some of the story companions will play a big part in like the last 10 levels, and it just gives them more depth and character, and you start to understand this world a bit better. So it picks up, but my god, it takes a long while to get there. The good news is, if anybody here is going to be using Norden's Favor, which is the optional sub that gives you the extra XP, you will hit level 50 in no time. 4 days maybe if you're playing casually, 3 days if you're not. 19 hours was the Discord achievement, I think. And yeah, there was a competition going on for like world first. Okay, 2 more minutes. I'm pretty much done waiting here for the damn PvP to pop. Let me just get to a couple more questions. Tawanda, hey Tawanda says, can I play this game using a controller? No, unfortunately there's not an inbuilt controller system. You can try maybe some mapping tools. I wouldn't recommend it though. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it unless of course there's somebody out there with a guide already on how to do it, then by all means go ahead. Weird After says, so what's your take on the game, worth it or not? If you like companion systems, in comparison to some of the other MMOs that I played which has companion systems, I think Astellia is doing the right thing with theirs. It's a lot more engaging, grindy, because you'll need to work a shit ton for them, and this makes alting a real bitch, because imagine getting like a 5th grade Rota or whoever, and then you gotta do that again on an alt. It's gonna be very time consuming, but it is a very engaging pet system. So I'll show off some of that in a dungeon run as soon as I'm done getting some of these questions out of the way. Okay, let's see. David Scott, hey David, sorry if I'm getting to you late, says, do you think the game will go free to play? Very popular question. I've seen that in-game chat too, and there's lots of comparisons, of course, with Blast Online and look, almost every Korean MMO that sort of launched itself with a proud status of being paid to play. Terra launched as pay to play, Ion launched as pay to play. All these games eventually went free to play, but not for like a few years down the line. With Astellia, see, I don't want to put them in a position where, you know, it's going to be sort of obvious, but I think it will. Not so soon, but I think it will, because a game like this, with what they have in terms of their systems and everything, if this came out 7 years ago, it would be a hit. Guaranteed, it'll be a hit. I think 2019 is a little too late for Astellia. There's still going to be a market for it because there's that aura of it being a new MMO. I just think it's a little too late. Lenia18 subscribed. Thank you, Lenia. Welcome to the stream. Alright guys, I'm canceling the arena matchup. I'm going to have to maybe do this during the week when launch happens, so that means there's more people in the game, and then I'll tell you my findings in my final review. So what are we going to do now? As a level 50, I tell you what, let's jump into a level 50 dungeon. Party or solo. So party recruitment, you can post here, for example, dungeons. Yeah, there you go, so you can see people already posting their queues. Elysium, Avalon not open, of course. Field is for your field bosses, which are basically your map bosses, if you will. And then the other way is you can hit matching. So they have a sort of party finder system. It's pretty slow. It works, but nobody uses it. If I could move chat for you on prime time, you will most likely see people using the chat to pug. Nobody, I think less than 50%, 40% uses the matching system. I'm gonna do this solo so I can show you guys how Astels work and everything. So let's do Hashmal Laboratory, the last one. Unlocked difficulties. Okay, hit enter. And let's go. Just gonna mute the mic for a sec. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's been a long day, you guys. I am running on caffeine. Dragon says, when it's game that is only PvP, it's an issue. Huh. Yeah, I suppose it's a good point. I mean, it's catering to sort of a mixed crowd. I think the general MMO crowd, because you've got your PvE, you've got your PvP. Now, if you talk about games like, say, BDO, ArcAge, you know, the PvP component is almost like a mandatory thing. Holy crap. Hang on a sec. My Streamlabs just posted all the Patreon pledges like on my screen right now. What just happened? Well, I hope the stream isn't being bombarded by notifications, right? Okay, no, it's not. Okay, cool. Alright, let's see. Now, the timer, there is a timer, and the timer in the dungeon simply means how fast you're going to do it. Pretty similar to like Coliseum, you have a final score. You can get a D or A or S, the best, of course. Does that affect loot? I'm not sure, and nobody seems to have an answer on that. Like, I've got my legendary on an A score, while I've finished a dungeon with the S score and got shit loot too. Now, before we begin, so I've already spent 4 tickets to get into this level 50 endgame dungeon, right? Now, hitting the ticket buff on the right side of the screen, you can spend, as I said, 4 more tickets to get 70% boost to dungeon boss rewards. I've done this many times, and I still get shit rewards, and I think that's because if you're doing it solo, I think they scale the loot quality back a little bit. But if you're doing it in a party, I think the loot's more beneficial that way. So I'm gonna hit use. Let's go and do that. And let's see. I've got Rota out, which is the tank. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna be using Ida, my grade 2 healer, and Ida is, in my opinion, the best healer in the game in terms of Astel. Warriors, every class will have a buffing skill. So for warriors, this is, I think, mitigation. Yep, increases physical and magic defense of the caster. So I'll put it on my companion. I'll put it on myself. And every party member that's in your group will get to do it as well. And now that I'm moving, the timer should begin. There we go. Timer's moving. So the objective of this dungeon is pretty much kill everything as fast as possible. Get to the boss as fast as possible. Okay, now you guys have to let me know if the audio is too loud, and I'll turn that stuff down. Oh boy, oh look at that. Armor drop already, but that is a Medora armor, which is this one. It's for a mage, and if you get something you don't like, hit the dismantle button and just dismantle it, because that's going to give you stones. And that stones, as you saw at the top of the stream, you'll need thousands of them in order to enhance your legendary gear. Each enhance could cost up to 24,000 stones. At level 50, just hitting level 50, my total tally was 40,000 stones, which means that on a brand new legendary, I could only enhance it once. And legendaries can go up to like 10. So that should give you an idea of how much stones you're going to need to farm. Now, do you need to kill every mob in the dungeon? No. You can skip some. Oh, hello there. Okay, I can afford to check in chat because I'm not caring about the score right now. Okay, let's see. Mini Current says game's about as loud as your voice. Alright, turning it down. That should be better, I hope. Anonymous says, is the stuttering due to streaming? Probably. How much stuttering are you guys seeing? Are you guys seeing a lot of stuttering? Let me know. On my screen, sometimes, like some skills when I execute them, that may happen. The other reason is I'm playing from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So, Southeast Asia to North American servers, there's going to be ping and latency. That could be an issue on my end. Okay, that is definitely not... That's I definitely saw that. That is an issue. So yeah, that can happen. Your experience may vary if you're in the UK or in the US. But for those of you watching from Asia, you guys may struggle with ping and latency, so keep that in mind. Now, if you want to make this go faster, like if you want to solo dungeons faster and get rid of all these trash mobs, the other thing you can do is have more Astels out. So you will get this item called Atra Tonic. These are a bit rare. They can drop from rare monsters and in dungeons too, and I've seen them being given somewhere else, I can't remember, achievements. What this does, it basically doubles the rate that your AP replenishes, so you can have 2 Astels out as long as they're like low-grade Astels. So you could bring out your healer, Ada, or you can bring out like a DPS alongside that, so you can attack things along faster. And it also helps because there will be some really difficult solo quests at 50. Boss mobs of up to maybe 60 million health that maybe if you're playing as a healing class or if you're playing as a tank like I am, it may take a while to kill, and if you run out of mana or energy and power, you're kind of screwed. But there are scenarios where using that potion will definitely help. I'm saving mine for PvP. I was about to say world versus world. Avalon, I need to remember that. So let's go ahead and pull a bunch because I am a tank after all and I can take some. Not as much though because I have to keep the aggro off my Astel too. So some of my skills, I do have threat as a warrior, generate threat. You want to keep your Astels. You've got a couple of options really. So what you don't see down here, these tiny icons. You can have your Astels be far away so they can fight from far away. So you want to do that for maybe companions that are archers or mages or healers. I have them set close because that's what I prefer. But in dungeons and in boss fights where there's going to be lots of AoE, like you just saw that big red ring of AoE, right? So if your Astels get caught in that, they will take the hit. And if their health goes down and they die, there's going to be a cooldown timer before you can summon them again. So if you only have 1 healer on your deck down there, you are screwed. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's check it in chat. Armand in chat says, Astellia looks very similar to Ion. Yep, you can say the same for most other MMOs. Like, like, you can say that for other MMOs too. Like, it reminds me of Ascent Infinite Realm 2. I was in the beta for that for like 2 weeks. And the first thing I saw was like, oh gosh, this is totally like Ascent. The only difference is there's no flying. Like, you don't have flying mounts or whatever. Terra, in a way, like the environments in the world. Just that Terra has the superior combat system, of course, on this same engine. Now the blue bar, that's my MP that is pretty low at the moment because I've been executing skills non-stop. You can rest, hit Control, Shift R, sit down for a sec, and watch that go up. Unfortunately, resting doesn't work for your AP at all. It only works for your blue bar. People don't really do this, so that's why they run in parties, because in parties you have like scholars, or was it the mages, who can replenish that for you. I'm getting some skill delay too. Yeah, it's probably my end, you guys. I think my internet and the latency is acting up. Taking like a millisecond for my skills to execute. Okay, let's see. Cyberpunk Girl, Adrian, which was the last time you played Riders of Icarus or Icarus Online? Riders of Icarus before they region blocked it, and I think that's like 5 years ago, I think. And then after that, they went to a different publisher. I forgot the name of the publisher. The one that's recently taken over. And they made it region block, so I haven't been able to get back in since. Okay, this one is a mini boss. Your dungeon layout, that was like the first part. Now we're getting to the second part. This is like a mini boss, and I've gotten very good drops from mini bosses as well, so try and kill them, and kill them fast. And they do have mechanics, so this is where you get to see some of the dungeon mechanics as a solo player. Now the one thing you want to keep a lookout for is that what you experience in these solo dungeon boss fights, whether it's a sub-boss or the main boss, the mechanics will change. Like, I got a real shock, when I did one of the story dungeons as a scenario solo, and I thought, oh, this is easy, this is great. And then when I went in the party as the main tank, I got fucked, because I didn't know the mechanics whatsoever. So they do change, and I think that's a good thing, because it adds to the replay factor. So it's not like, okay, you've seen everything the first time in the story mode, so when you go back in with the party, you know, you're not doing the same thing over and over. The environments and, you know, some of the bosses change, but the mechanics are different. Okay, I don't remember. I did this maybe 2 days ago. I don't remember the mechanics for this. That looks like something I have to destroy. Yep, it's a mana orb. I think that sucks my mana, or that depletes my mana, and you don't want to stand in that, so. What I could have done there was ordered my Astels to take care of that, because you can remotely order your Astels to either stop, pause, attack, execute skills. Like for Ida, her skill Love's End, what this does is hitting that, it makes mobs more prone to knockback, stun, and CC, and as a warrior I have a ton of that. They don't work on boss mobs, unfortunately. They have stun immunity, so that makes my Astels skill pretty redundant. And this would be faster if I was an assassin or an archer, maybe. I'm not. It's all good though. I'm spamming my same combos over and over again. Ooh, good placement. Let's see, what does that do? Poison Cloud, which does nothing. My mitigations are pretty high. And I did say Ida is the best healing Astel in the game, and you can see why. Like, I've not even touched my healing skill, I've not used a pot. She's pretty good. The only issue is you have to work really hard to get her up to like a higher grade. She does become available in the story, but if you did not get like a card drop before that, so maybe you might get a grade 1 Ida or any other Astel in a dungeon before experiencing them in the main story. Now, if that happens, when you do encounter them in the story, they will automatically like stack. They upgrade automatically. Take some of the pain out, but you know, it's still a tedious process. Holy crap, die already. Hang on, guys. Die. If you're wondering about dungeon story, yep, every dungeon that you do, like I said, you would have done them once at least in the story. And there's a reason for some of these bosses and some of these plot lines that happen. Some of them are decent. Ooh, what did I get? Okay, let's see. That's a lot of stuff. So first thing I see down there is a Squall Armor level 50 element. Now I can't move that, but where is that? There it is. Squall Armor, level 50 element for the assassin, required to make a heroic or legendary Squall Armor. Now I know that shit's gonna sell for a lot of money, because if people want to craft legendary armor, they're gonna need this stuff, so I'll take that as a win. I'm just gonna have to check the AH and see how rare that thing is, so I can decide like what price point do I put. Other stuff is Uncommon Atra Crystal, Star Jewel Alpha, Atratonic. That's what I was talking about. This is what you want to have more than one Astel out at the same time. And finally, Denevula armor for the archer, which is crap. So the one way that Astellia fucks you over in terms of gear farming, right? So you have an archer, you get the best like heroic gear that you want or things like that, and then you look at the stat. Like these stuff are your basic stuff. It doesn't really change that much. You can alter that with adding in more runes and things like that. But the one thing that gives you a bonus is the stat down here. Now, if you get something like a will, which again, archers don't use will, you're fucked. And there's no way, I don't think, to re-roll that stat unless you fuse, which I'm not too sure about. So this is, in other words, trash. So this goes into the bin to dismantle for stones. You will be doing a lot of that, guys. Trust me, a lot of that. Okay, checking in chat. Lord Midichlorian says, not really a fan of boss immunities when it's generalized for all bosses. It's okay on here and there, that has lore justification, but I find that you flat can't do that with a boss, a lame solution. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, I mean, for me, with all the classes that you have, like, I'm not kidding, as a warrior, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 skills that are knockdowns and stuns and things like that. And in a boss fight, what turns out to be like an interesting rotation just becomes a button mash. A button mash of keeping aggro and just spamming your same 2 DPS sort of combos over and over. just hoping to do damage. I mean, in a party dungeon, I don't care. It's fine, because my job in a party is to tank, you know? Unless I'm in a crazy guild run and we're going for like a DPS clear, right? Everybody just goes crazy batshit. But, you know, when you're pugging as a tank, you just tank. Nothing else is expected of you. Just keep aggro and don't die. When you're solo, that's a different story, because without the help of, you know, the other people in your party and the DPS that they bring to the table, you just lost like 5 skills that you can't use on a boss. Which is why, again, the Astels come into play. So as a warrior, when you're soloing some of these endgame bosses, pick who you have on your deck wisely, so that you know, when you bring them out, time them, they'll save you. I've got Braga there just sitting there waiting. Like, he's only 1 star, but he still kicks ass. Okay, Anonymous says, so it's like Maple Story 2 where you spend weeks running dungeon hoping for it's the stat that you rolled. That shorts experience. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you how long ago you joined the stream, Anonymous, but it's either that, in case you want a legendary, or you could do the post main story quest where you kill 900 mobs. I'm not joking. You're seeing it right now. 900 mobs to get your legendary weapon and armor. For those just joining the stream, I've already done the first part, which is kill 300 mobs for my legendary armor right here. I haven't done anything to it because I still don't have the runes that I want, and I don't have the stones to enhance, so I might do that tomorrow. But the weapon one, I just look at that number, 600 mobs. I'm like, fuck. I need to get drunk, and I don't know. I may do it in stream, maybe like a marathon, 24-hour stream. I definitely don't want to do it solo, because the first part of that, the armor, I did it with my guild. Everybody was on the same quests, same amounts, and it was just smooth, buttery smooth. We had the entire channel, and channel simply means like, you know, channel 1, channel 2 of the map. So we had an entire channel to ourselves, and we just pulled everything and killed everything for like 2 hours. 600 mobs though? I don't know. Okay, I want you guys to keep in mind the sort of the loot quality that dropped from the first sub-boss, because I'm hoping that the final boss here will drop shit, so that way I can prove my theory right, whereby the last boss for solo, if you're doing it solo, it just drops crap. Okay, back to the chat. Savage says, Adrian, is the 28th, did they unlock the advanced class yet? Not yet, sir. Not yet. And I'm not sure if I went over that, but yeah, classes... warrior, assassin, all the other classes. So on this panel here under class character growth, you've got 2 more stuff here that I can't access. Class evolution, character enhancement, can't do anything because it's not out. But you can check the evolution info. So for me, I can go down 3 paths, either the Crusader, the Berserker, or the Gladiator. Each of them has different nuances. All of them still tank, by the way, so it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna go DPS forever. No. Even in the Berserker, which sounds like a pure DPS subclass, nope, you still have a shield, you still will tank, and you still are expected to tank. That's just how it is. Found it out the hard way. I was like, you know, I'm just going to be a warrior, go DPS with Berserker, and somebody in my guild's like, fuck that. you're still tanking, you're still a tank. I'm like, oh. Doesn't matter though. I mean, if you want to be a tanky type class in the RVR mode Avalon, which is what I like, I'm a Templar and ESO. I'm a Guardian in Guild Wars 2 for those RVRs, so I'm just gonna go Warrior. It's just something that I'm used to. May vary for you, of course. And I think we are almost there, guys. Yep, we're almost there at the final boss. Okay, Anonymous says, how hard are the mobs? 900 does not sound too bad, at least not. It's not RNG. That's the thing. So you can see what Astellia are trying to do here. You either spend the time and the RNG farming your ass for the legendary with the stat that you want, or you can get the surefire way of getting a legendary with the perfect stats. Perfect stats. Like, I'm not kidding. They will not fuck you over here because they give you the stats that matter to your class. but you have to do the mandatory grind. 300 mobs for the armor here, 600 mobs for the weapon. So in total, about 900 mobs. Oh yeah, here's the cutscene. Yeah, you guys won't get the context for this, but it's part of the story. Yeah, that's a little cinematic taste of some of the CGI that Astellia has. They do have a good mix of CGI, in-game rendered sort of cinematic cutscenes, which some of them they do pretty well when they integrate your Astels into them as well. And unfortunately, the voice acting for that guy was pretty bad, wasn't it? Let me just refresh my buffs to Ida as well. Okay, now here, I mean, most people have food. Food I do not have, and I've never had food. Food in this game gives you like 5% HP increase for 5 minutes or 30 minutes depending on the rarity of the food that you have. I couldn't be bothered, honestly, because first of all, people overcharge like hell on the auction house. Those things cost a lot. And then to cook them, cooking them is tedious. So ingredients, you need all this stuff, starch, blah, blah, blah. And then the completed dish, like lamb skewer, I'll just look at the amount of materials that you need. These you need to collect for yourself, or, you know, people, you have to buy them. It's just one of the slowest crafting professions to level. The end result, though, can be pretty good. Like this one, lamb skewer, 8% increase to defense for 5 minutes. Now, the deal breaker for me is 5 minutes. I mean, fuck. What? You can't do shit in 5 minutes, you know, so I would like to see something higher than that. Okay, there we go, 30 minutes. But this one is legendary in quality, so yeah, good luck. No thank you. Like, nobody uses food. In all the dungeon runs I've done, like, nobody says, oh, hang on, let's eat food. Food check. Nobody does it. Because it's too expensive. Economy's not there yet. Not enough players. Not enough people going out farming those food ingredients on the landscape. Just like you would for ore and wood. Okay, are we ready, Ida? So there it is, Venetia of Despair. Now, if the name sounds familiar, it's because... yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. Let's go! Time is a ticking. I've got 14 minutes here. This is going to be the slowest run yet. Okay, I'm trying to remember what her mechanics are. I actually don't. You have double tap to dodge, but that consumes energy and that has a pretty slow cooldown. The thing is, if you're in the middle of executing your big combo and the boss does one of her AoE stuff and you have to dodge, say goodbye to the cooldown for that combo. So that's another way where the game can kind of mess with you. You want to time stuff right, so luckily I got my soul restore executed before she did that. But it's pretty standard, even for the party version, the group version, at intervals, maybe 75%, 50%, and then 25%, things tend to happen. Okay, there we go, it started to happen already. So that one was get out, and this one is get in. Now the problem with that, of course, you see my Ida follows me everywhere. Now if I set her to fight far away, and you can do that by just clicking here, set long range mode, so from now on, she's just going to stay at that point. Okay, where are we now? 60%? Okay, time for Braga. Almost time for Braga. Oh, let's get out, get out, get out. Shit, didn't make it in time. Okay, 50%. Let's see. Ida's not healing me. I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. So if your Astel's health is down, somehow they prioritize themselves first before you. Which is fine. I can take a few hits. Okay, inner ring. Good. Okay, let's bring out Braga. So this is a savior Astel. He has a timer. Watch this, and he's big. So that's a pretty rare Astel to get. And he has a lot of CC. Oh, okay, something's happening. Doesn't matter. Ooh, my health. My health. My health. Ida, heal me. Do your damn job. Where's Ida? Oh, she's standing right in the... Okay, never mind. Fight close range. Close range. Close ranks. Okay, she's down to maybe 15%. We got this. I haven't popped anything like a pot. Get out of that. Good job, Ida. Just follow your master. You'll be fine. Right, there you go. So Braga's now gone because his cooldown has expired. And if you take a look at my Astel deck at the bottom, you'll see that he has a 20-minute cooldown. So that fucker is rare as hell. He does a lot of damage. Not sure how he'll perform in PvP, but... And boom! That is an A rank. Oh my god. Inventory full. Let's see what it is. Uncommons. All that effort for that. So I'm just going to get rid of like a common one. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Which you shouldn't do, by the way, because you can fuse gems. Now the other thing, and I'm not kidding you, I'm going to move my chat right now. This is the final boss, by the way. So, dungeon. You have entered blah blah blah. You got 20,000, close to 20,000 Asper. Now, obtained one lower dagger, which is a rare item, and one defense rune. I also got Virgo. I got a Virgo card drop, but that has added 10 points to the Astel card, and that's because I already have Virgo, which is here. So that's taken her tally up from 210 to 220 now. So yeah, that's how that Astel card progression works. You're going to need to keep farming Astel cards. And some of these dungeons, they only drop 10. So it's one card is worth 10 points, especially if it's a one-star card. So it's a grind, but I'm just disappointed that. That was the final boss, and that's the shit loot that I got. Not even a heroic. So what does that say? That says the first boss, the sub-boss that I fought earlier. Was this the one? No, but yeah, the sub-fucking boss gave me better loot than the final boss of the dungeon. So I'm not sure if that's why that's working as intended or... Yeah, I don't know. But that's just my experience. Yours after launch could be different for those of you jumping in. But yeah, just remember, have fun. And you will be doing lots of dungeons, guys, because you don't want to be sitting on your 24 out of 24 or 20 out of 20 ticket runs. I mean, if you full on, use them and let them refresh. Okay, let's catch up on chat, shall we? Where are we? Oh, we got Derbs in chat. Hey, Derbs. Hey, oh, long time no see. How you doing, Derbs? Yeah, long time indeed. We got OSWAP. How many classes have you tried, and what's your take on all of them in terms of PvE and PvP? PvP, unfortunately, Avalon is not out yet. That's the one I'm really looking forward to because I'm a big RVR person. Again, I'm sounding like a broken record here, but ESO and Guild Wars 2, those are the RVR modes that I love a lot. And Warriors, one of the main class that I'm playing so far because that's what I want to main. I've tried a bit of the Archer. I like it because it's mobile. I think out of all the classes, and that includes the Assassin, the Archer has the most skills that you can fire while moving. To me, that's big because I like MMOs that are mobile. For the Warrior, it's a very static class. I'm not sure how much you caught of that dungeon run, but it is, you know, when you're fighting as a melee character, even for the Assassin, you're kind of locked in animation. You can't do a whole lot except dodge out of the way. So yeah, Archer is probably going to be my second alt, I suppose. The other classes haven't tried. I might do. Okay, where else? Dragon Gun says, but games like APB Reloaded, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Where the game is PvP, this is when their issue with play to win. Are you saying that if it's a PvP focused game, then it's going to be pay to win? I mean, that's a popular trend, right? I mean, those Korean MMOs, and I'm sure you can think of some when we say that, where there's a heavy emphasis on PvP, then there's going to be a lot of advantages, of course. People want to be the best. You want to be on the leaderboards. You want to. It's just this thing that keeps people spending money because there is this real desire to. It's an ego booster. You want to be the best, so you pay. Okay, where are we? Anonymous Old School RuneScape. Dragon says, I need this game. Hang on. Launch is in, what is it? 7 hours? Yeah, launch in 7 hours. We got Ryan Jones says, does this game have a downgrade break system while enchanting? Yes, it does. Again, not sure how much of the stream you caught, so here's the enhance. This is where you put in armor to enhance. For example, Gabber Ring, you can see how much it costs, how many stones you have, and the stat changes. So what's it going to be after, and things like that. So this is for a rare gear at level 50. Only like 1,000 stones, right? No biggie. Legendary armor at level 50. 26,000 armor stones. And as a sort of new level 50 guy, I ended up about 46,000. So like I said, it's not enough to get you to like a +7, the safe zone. +10 is the maximum for a legendary. But after 7, of course, chance to fail, which means you will not get those armor stones back. That's 26k a pop, you guys. So this is where you need to decide. All these drops, do you want to sell them or do you want to dismantle them? I'm going to dismantle a whole bunch. Like this one, Chromion Armor Assassin. Nope. Bye-bye. So if I hover that... Hang on. Wrong panel. This is the enhancement panel. It dismantle. So while you have that dismantle icon, if you want to see how many stones you're getting, hover that over the icon right there and then look at the bottom, just below the price per unit. It says armor enhancement stones, 1,835. That's how much you'll get for a rare. If it's a legendary, I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just gonna hover over it. Okay, there we go. Legendary, that's 22,000. Yeah, so that's 22,000 armor stones for dismantling a legendary armor piece. Shouldn't do it, of course, because there's always a chance that you may get an unbinding scroll and you can sell that for good money. How much money? In fact, let's just go to the auction house real quick and let's find out. Let's take a look at the head starts. We've had about 8 days of head start now, maybe more. Let's see what the economy is for those of you who are jumping in. And by the way, because I've seen world chat like every day, I can tell you right now, these fuckers in here, they're gonna rip you off big time. So there are things that you guys should probably know when you're starting later today. Stuff like, don't buy gear. Just don't buy gear. The game in leveling through your story quests, your dungeon runs, they will hand out gear like candy. Keep updating them where you can, but do not buy gear, especially not from those merchants. So you'll get an important currency here called ancient fragments. Now these are super rare because they're pretty valuable, and these are given alongside gold or asper for quest completion and whatnot. And for repeatable quests, these are the rewards as well. Now I'm holding on to them because they have significant value in Astellia. But in some quest hub crawls, you'll see gear vendors offering sweet new gear, but you have to pay in ancient fragments. Don't do it. Don't. I got from maybe 15 all the way to like 45 in trash gear. No problem. You guys won't have an issue to. Just be sure to use the right Astels. If you're squishy, use Rota or use any tanking Astel, that kind of thing. Have a healing Astel out. Use potions. Spend your in-game gold for potions. Just don't spend your ancient fragment. I've got 12,000 now, and that's what I ended up with at level 50. Hold on to them. And especially the auction house. If you really find something with the stats that you want, by all means, go ahead. But while leveling, don't do it. Like I said, there are people in the head start that are going to rip you off. Do not do it. So some of the prices, let's see. Let's do level 50. See if there's a legendary weapon in here. Grades legendary. Search. Ooh, what's going on? Million asper. So yeah, so all these people, they have already used one unbinding legendary beeswax scroll. That's why you see the rebinding attempts is 4 now, because the default you get is 5 binding attempts, like on this one. Yeah, 5. So once I unbind this, it's going to come 4. So that's what most of these people did, and that's expensive because those legendary unbinding scrolls, they cost a lot. And they're rare drops from dungeons, so these people must really want to sell it. See, this one's pretty good. This is a level 50 warrior sword. with decent stats. It's got strength on there, but it's the lowest percentage. Constitution is great because that's for tanking. Dexterity too for your avoidance, missing sort of the CC debuffs and whatnot. And that costs 850,000 Esper. Now, when I hit level 50, my total was 1,000,002. I've bought some stuff, some stupid stuff, which has taken me down to like 800. But that's what you end up with as a fresh level 50. You'll end up at about 1,000,002. Just casual playing, running through dungeons, and if you're not selling anything, and if you're dismantling everything. So this is like the prices of legendaries and what they're going for right now. 0.1 million, 0.5 million, 3 million. There's one in here that's 3 million. This guy's nuts. Why? Ah, I see. Because this is what you call a win. This is a winning weapon because legendaries are 4 stats, right? You may get one of each stat, which is decent. It's not bad. But if you are super lucky, you get that. You get double of your main stat for your class. Scholars, the healers, you have double the intelligence, so that's 16%, and then 16% wisdom as well. So you got the magical attack, and hang on, let me just make sure that I'm getting the details right. Intelligence is magic attack, and what's the other one? Will? Spell power. So this, no, wisdom, dude. Magic accuracy, right? So magic attack and accuracy, that is a pretty damn good roll. But you wouldn't pay 3 million for that, so. For leveling, let me just check, just in case. I want to see what leveling weapons are like. Level 1 to level 10. Let's see. No results. 20. Oh, that's because it's legendary. Okay, all grades. 5,000 for a level 12 bow. Nah. With the intelligence stat? Nah. So you're gonna find a lot of this stuff. Some of these are pretty cheap. Like, look, level 18 rare sword. You'd be about in the 20,000 to 30,000 range in your first 15 levels. While it may be tempting, you don't need to. Trust me, just stick to your quest rewards and whatever drops you get, you'll be fine. Okay, I'm gonna take a break here, drink some water, and check it on chat. Any questions you guys have, please let us know. We have one in there. Hi, is it worth playing BNS? Blade and Soul? Sure. I mean, I haven't played it in a while. I recently went back because I got a free Archer package, which I registered for because they've got the new Archer out, of course, the new class, and I made one, but I haven't gotten out of the Hong Moon tutorial area. Look, I like Blade and Soul. It's sort of flashy and I guess one of the decent games for its time in terms of what it does. It's action combat system, the music, the art production, but the trajectory of what it's done in terms of where the game's going with the cash store and the grind and everything, that's not for me to say because I do not have a level cap character in BNS and I don't play it as much as I should, so I'm not well versed. But it's free. If you like it, go ahead. Anonymous says, if you can speed through the leveling like 24 hours, why would you even bother buying leveling gear, which you will replace in 20 minutes? Exactly. Don't do it. And when you come in here, don't listen to the chat. Like, there's going to be lots of players asking questions in chat, which you should. Go ahead and do it. But take what people say with a pinch of salt, because everybody wants to rip you off. That's the vibe that's happening right now. Everybody wants to rip you off. Alright, we've got Steelper. Hey, he says, better than Final Fantasy or Arcade Unchained? Astellia? Let's see. No and no. Simple as that. No, I mean, Astellia is good if you're looking for an in-between MMO, something that you want to jump back to. And why I say that is because it's buy-to-play. And the fact that it's buy-to-play, look, a lot of people will hate that it's buy-to-play. For me, between a subscription and free-to-play, buy-to-play is always going to be my preferred method because for the type of person that I am, the work that I do, I like to jump around and come back without any strings attached. And that's why I call it an in-between MMO. And I think if you're looking for a game like that, no problem. If you're down to more specific things, like if you want a solid dungeon farmer, grinder type game, this could be it because of the whole RNG system with the legendary farming, and if you're a big pack rat, you want to get all your Astels and you want to level them up and you want to have this done. Like, you can have skins, for example. Let's see, Virgo Astel skin. The higher their rank, the more type of skins you can unlock, and you can buy in the cash store and whatever. You know, if you're into that shindig, no problem. It's okay for that sort of game. We got Fear in chat. Astellia is a really nice game. It's an old school play, but the game is really nice to play. Indeed. So I'm not sure if you guys seen this, but I'm going to up the volume a little bit. I did this on Twitch for viewers there. So your Astels will dance with you. And there's like a Korean song in here that plays. I'm just going to do that for like a minute. Just to show you guys what that is. So I think it's Dance 3. And it's going to be synchronized, you and your Astels. So 1, 2, 3. So if you are if you're a fan of this kind of stuff, you know, no problem. I mean, it's just that sort of game. So that's why I say it's an in-between. Okay, I'm gonna see any other questions in there. Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Niku, or Niku. Hey, Niku says, hi, for playing Astellia, you must buy the game? Yes. After launch, cheapest pack is, I think, $30, but you do have a $9 $9.99, $10 a month if you want to try it for like 1 month. Okay, let's see. Cosmic Muna says this is cool. Anonymous says any open world content? Yes, sir, and let's talk about that. Thanks for bringing that up. Right, so I'm gonna stop the dancing right now because when I first encountered that, I swear to God, there was like 20 people just standing in the middle of town, all dancing, and you have no choice but to hear that Korean pop music in your earphones, and there's no way to turn it off without muting the game. So I was pretty annoyed by that. Okay, open world content. When you're out and about questing, so this is the main town of Mayville in the Rockfront zone, which is basically your starter zone. So once you get out here and start doing quests, it's basically a quest hub crawl. If anybody's seen like the Head Start stream that I had, right? So you'll pick up quests, kill 6 or whatever, do the story, then move on from hub to hub to hub to hub. So it's very linear. It's going to be a very linear experience, typical of most sort of theme park MMOs. You're on rails basically. But Astellia has this system called the Star Panel. Okay, basically you hit Alt-N. Oops, Alt-N. There you go, Star's Tale. Now this one I found pretty interesting because I can see this sort of influence where this is coming from. So what is Star's Tale? What am I looking at? This looks nice and flashy, but what is it? This is your map completion screen. And I know it looks weird, but trust me, it's a map completion screen. So for the first zone, Rockfront, you have your basic story here. And then there's hidden boxes. Now, I'm sure you guys know about this. Those of you that maybe watched streams before, there are hidden boxes in the world that if you collect them, great, you get an achievement point and some rewards, and they get ticked off here. So I've only done 3 so far. Now, all the dungeons, if you completed them, they get ticked off here as well. If you come across ancient monsters in the landscape and you kill them, ticked off. Collectibles, I've got none because I don't have the storage space for them, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. These are viewpoints. Viewpoints are like vistas. Anybody played Guild Wars 2? When you go to a map, there's a vista point. You look at it, it shows you a pretty view of the landscape. Astellia has that too, so that's what the viewpoints are. Field bosses are the raid bosses in here. They take a long time to kill if you're doing a small group. They have upwards of, I think, like millions, hundreds of millions of XP. And why all of this stuff matters because of the reward percentages. Now, I've only done up till 30%, right? So the more of this stuff I complete, and on the left side, these are like hidden quests, sort of story investigation type missions where you need to find clickables and clickies on the landscape, which can get pretty annoying because they're hard to find and there's no guides out because the game's kind of new. And why they are important because of the completion rewards. So for example, right, this is the first map. I'm only 37%, but if you 100% complete everything on this Star's Tale for Rockfront, you will get a 4-grade star rota, which is pretty damn good. So what people have been doing, like most of us on our first run through, we didn't know about this because I can't remember if it was in a CBT or not, the first CBT, but this wasn't a thing. So it's only after, once I've left the zone and I look back, I'm like, oh shit, I could have gotten like a 4-star tank, you know, and that's pretty cool. The problem is a lot of these loot materials, like you need to kill maybe 40 or 30 of the mobs, maybe to get something to drop, and then you gotta craft them using the special crafting. Like it will tell you, like for example, carpentry, go on to special crafting. It will tell you, okay, this is for a collection, Horn of Centaur, so this is for the Star's Tail. But you need 15 of these, and these are rare drops. So you'll be doing a lot of sort of farming and grinding on the map just to complete this map collection thing, if you want some of the best loot and companions. So 50% you can get a 3 Great Pisces. My Pisces is... damn it. 1 star. There we have it. So I just haven't been lucky with my dungeon drops with Pisces. So there is definite benefits to trying and map complete everything before you move on. The problem is, like I said, everybody that jumped into Head Start was just rushing to get to the cap. So now we're all coming back to these early zones to do it. Randelio, yeah, you get Rota again, but unlike the previous zone, this is only a 3-star Rota. So if I go back and finish Rakfront now, I may get a 4.5-star Rota, or maybe even a grade 5. No, I don't think so. Maybe grade 4.5. 50% is Papilla, grade 3. 100% is a 4-star Corvus, and this is a more physical, it's like a DPS Astel, which is good. So all the zones, you'll have different things. Basically, kill monsters, collect the different loot that drops from the mobs in that zone. This one's good. This one I gotta do because this is Ida. Getting a 3-star Ida, again, she's the best healer in the game, in my opinion. So 100%ing this zone is gonna be key. Ooh, I've done 25%. I can collect something. Let's go hit collect. What did I get? Loot material? Meh. Yeah, so that's open world content in a way. So it's not just like your field bosses, because that is sort of content, right? Now, if you mean other types of content at level 50, we have something called the Hunting Grounds. Now, I'm going to show you guys what that is real quick, because it's not just about farming your dungeons and trying to get your legendaries as quick as possible. It's also about farming currencies now, and that's going to be important. I'll tell you why. So over here, Aran has a daily and weekly quest that you want to pick up, so make sure that you come back to the main town of Mayville in Rockfront as often as you can. See what quests that you maybe missed. And a good tip too, like on the world map, it's pretty interactive. So, for example, you can see the quest icon, right? Just hover over that and it'll tell you what quest is over there in that hub. You can even check for zones that are far away. So Athlon, I hit level 50 a long time ago and I've stopped picking up side quests. So you can even tell what quests you haven't done. And if it's an important quest, it'll be in orange instead of white. So you can tell, okay, I need to go there. Okay, there's a repeatable quest there. Be sure to go around and make sure you're getting the important stuff. Now at level 50, these merchants, above their names, those are the names of the currency. So Ancient Fragment is basically your main currency that I set to hold on to. You can spend that at Enbo, and you can buy these things called treasures, which are basically sort of like trinkets, and they do give you extra stats, maybe magic attack, physical attack. So some of the ones that I have, for example, increases my healing rate, this one, evasion, and some of them even give you deck effects, like this one, Siftolia Meeting Souvenir. So this one increases the endurance deck points, which I've already talked about, by 3. So if you find yourself really short or shy of hitting a certain amount in your Astels deck to tick that effect or to count it, to bring it into play, then you may want to get a treasure or two. So that's pretty handy. Amy is over here. Amy, you're gonna love Amy, for those of you jumping in, because she is in every frigging hub offering kill quests by the dozens. Like, you kill 15 of each mob in every zone. So you can get Amy's gift box. I'm not sure what's in there, but that's legendary. You know what? For the sake of the stream, I'm gonna buy one. Let's buy one. So it's cost 90, and I can get that back in like 3 repeatable quests, so no biggie. Okay. Let's open up the box. Let's see what's in it. A level 50 rare bow. Well, that was useless. Additional stats, physical critical attack. Like, it doesn't have... Oh, well. Let's take that. So, yeah, you can get gear. I wonder if you can get legendary from that. I don't know. And it has the wisdom stat. So, you know what that means? You go to the shitter. That's 1,008 enhancement stones. Now, the others around there, this one is Banon Kingdom Coin. This is the currency for doing Coliseum, the Coliseum waves. And you can get Rune and Star Jewels, or basically what you put in Astels. Rune is basically what you put in weapons and gear. These enhancement stone boxes are just going to be cooking supply boxes, ingredients. Don't spend it on that. I think it's easier just to farm. Now, Shining Merchant's Gold Wood Coin. These are dungeon currency, I want to say. Let me check. Shining Dungeon Merchant crap. Yeah, there we go. Shining Merchant Gold Coin. So these are dungeon currency. Do enough dungeons and you can then buy some heroic treasures. Pretty similar to the one we just saw a couple of vendors back. But the only difference is these guys look pretty good because they're heroic. So I assume the stat increase that they're going to give you is way better. Next, Holy Order Symbol Merchant. Now this guy gives you legendary gear. The problem is it needs... exactly that. Holy Order symbol. I don't know where that drops from. My guess is Avalon, which is the RVR PvP mode, or the Arena mode, which I can't tell you because I haven't got it to pop. But you can get legendary armor in here. They cost about 5,000 to 3,000 for legendary accessories, but yeah. In case, if your luck is so shit, like you cannot do the grinding quests, which gives you free legendaries, or if you run tons of dungeons and you're just giving up, your last resort is to just vendor it. But yeah, we need to find out where that currency comes from. Last but not least, Star Caller's Coin Merchant. Again, I don't know where this comes from. But over here, ooh, you can buy dungeon tickets. Okay, that's interesting, but I don't know what that is. And a beginner's Astel box. Unused data. Oh, yes. Unused data. I know what unused data is. Okay, so this one is an unused... So actually, the name of the vendor does not match the currency that it takes. So Star Caller's Coin Merchant. They need to rework that, by the way, because if you noticed, all the frigging vendors have the same frigging icons for the currency. It just puts you off. Like, you frigging get confused here. Okay, so unused data points. This is important because... she lets you buy Astel boxes, and inside of these has a card pack for 60 and a dungeon ticket in case. So where do you get unused data? Let's go. Now this is the next part of your level 50 sort of endgame content that you can do, and that is the dailies and weeklies, and that's where we're going to. So head to your teleporter. Every main hub has one. And you've got two. You've got your main teleporter, and this is the one that's going to take you from zone to zone, different zones. And then you've got your hunting ground teleport manager. Hunting ground is primarily endgame zones. So you've got three of them. Ragrock, and they're on different continents, it seems. Astera and Greleaf. So let's go to Astera. And in each of those hunting grounds, there's going to be a bunch of dailies and weeklies that you can pick up. I believe they're sort of the higher end difficulty, so you want to do them in a party. In World Chat, I've seen people pug for them in 12s, so it's more of a raid. In Astellia, they're called something else. They're not called raids. Something bigger than party. But yeah, you definitely want a group to do them. Let's just see how many quests there are. Loading's a little slow, and if it seems slow, don't worry about it. That's me. This is on an HDD and not on my SSD, which is where it should be. Okay, so here is one hunting ground zone. This is Astara. It's just pretty simple map design. Doesn't have any sort of story quests. And yeah, you just saw somebody pugging for a group there. So these icons, pretty much standard, means repeatable. Kunun.
The day of reckoning dawns.
So daily, Nathan's soldier, and this one is the Holy Order symbol. There we go. So that's what you need in 5,000 or was it 50? Yeah, 5,600 of these coins, and then you can go buy a legendary without having to go through, you know, any painful stuff. And then you also get unused data, and you need 60 of these to buy card packs for Astels. So that's the daily version.
May Norden bless you.
Is this the weekly? Yep, we have a weekly too. I start with creator fragments. So found on monsters, kill monsters. So there you go. Ooh, I got an invite from Astellia.
Norden is with you.
Let me just type that real quick. Yeah, they thought I'm just here like looking for group, but yeah. But so far good. I mean, it's going to be easy to find groups. Just come to the hunting grounds, you'll find groups. Otherwise, get into a guild and do them. So I'm going to pick this up in case I log in tomorrow and I get a group. Oh, don't take it that way. See, now I feel bad. Sorry, Astellia, if you ever watch this. So that's the hunting ground, guys. Okay, now I know I've been ignoring chat for a while, so let me just catch up with you guys real quick, see what you guys are saying. Midichlorian says, EA Activision, the giant Asians. What? Anonymous says, you probably explained this already, but what happens when you get duplicate Astels, the pet things? If you get a duplicate, and in like normal dungeon runs, you usually get a 10-point one, which means a 1-star. So I'm just going to pick another 1-star. Let me just find one. So let's say you already got Ursa. Maybe the quests, one of the quests gave you Ursa, right? So if you get another one in a dungeon, it's going to add 10 points to your SP. So if you're on 30 out of 40, for example, and you get another Ursa to drop, that's going to take you to the next grade. So as long as you complete that bar, you're going to grade up to 2 stars. So that's how that works. Every duplicate Astel card that you get will add to your SP. And it depends on the rarity or the grade of the duplicate. If you get like a 4-star card on a 1-star card, it's going to absorb the 1-star card. So then it becomes a 4-star grade Astel plus the 10 points from the lower card, if that makes sense. I hope it did. So basically, if I get a 4-star Ursa now, it's going to absorb that and combine. So I'm going to get a 4-star Ursa with the 10. See, now I'm fucking myself up. Okay, but you guys got that, right? That's how that works. It just absorbs the SP together and gives you the highest output possible. That's how that works. Okay, anything else in chat? Seoper says, only Asian MMO that I currently like is Final Fantasy XIV, but it's Japan. Japan is Asia, which is cool. Like, Japanese MMOs, to be honest with you, for a very long time, I wasn't a fan at all. You know, but my sister got me into it, and I've been hooked ever since. In terms of storytelling, like I always say this to people, you have the Korean MMOs, and let's put them together, especially in that sort of region, that sort of Oriental influence. You have the Chinese MMOs, the Korean MMOs, and then the Japanese MMOs. If you want story, you play the Japanese MMOs, because the JRPG element in those games are fantastic. It's good. You won't find a substitute for that. Now, between the Korean and the Chinese games, both of them have sort of similarities. Grinders, I think in recent times, Korean MMOs have really taken on sort of that fantasy medieval style of game where they want to make it as theme park as possible, while another half of these Korean studios want to be the flashiest at everything. Best looking combat, best looking boob physics, or whatever it is, you know? They have that sort of... It's almost like a reflection of their, and I'm sorry if this is, you know, generalizing too much, but it's almost a reflection of what Korea is well known for. You know, you think of K-pop, it's all about the flash and, you know, the glitz and the glam. Their MMOs tend to be that way as well. Unfortunately, with Korea, there's lots of sort of people doing the same thing, and it's almost like a lot of their studio developers all graduated from the same academy, where the only subject thought was how to make a game on Unreal Engine 3. You know, because that's how it comes across. And, you know, credit to games like ArcAge, which runs on I think it runs on CryEngine, And you know, I like to see more Korean MMOs come out and break from that mold and really challenge the status quo. BDO, when it was first announced, and games like ArcheAge when it was first announced, they really tried to set the bar high, but unfortunately, we all know what happened in terms of monetization and, you know, advantages and things like that. So hey, as for Chinese MMOs, like I said, the same thing on Twitch. Yeah, you get the bunch of grindy ones, you get a bunch of pay-to-win ones, but the one constant that they have is they love ripping each other off. Like, they love ripping each other off. Like, you will play one and realize, like, I've seen that somewhere. And I'm not talking about the style, I'm talking about the asset. You know, you've seen that somewhere. Alright guys, I'm heading out of the hunting grounds.
Do you want to go somewhere?
What time is it? It's 1:31 in the morning. So I'll maybe spend like last 10 minutes here talking to you guys. Okay, any last questions that you guys have? You know what, maybe I should just catch up real quick. Let's see. Sorry guys if I'm missing your chat. Super says at least grinding WoW, Guild Wars, and Final Fantasy is fun. We got Graspy. Hey Graspy! Hey, long time no see. Anonymous says ArcheAge really went to shit. Glad he's getting a proper chance. Hey, you may see some ArcheAge tomorrow because I am in the sort of media PDS that has launched already. I just haven't had the time. I've been doing Astellia most of the weekend, so I may stream some ArcheAge Unchained from the PDS tomorrow. I just need to confirm with Gamigo if there's an NDA or not, because I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, any questions? Let's see. Seoper says Korean games are made free-to-play to become cash grabs. Most of them, yes. Honestly, I don't think any game can beat Guild Wars 2 in the buy-to-play genre. In a way, yes. When it was buy-to-play, now Guild Wars is like, I would say 80% free. Because a lot of people will make it to Heart of Thorns. At least in my experience, because, you know, having played Guild Wars 2 for a while and covered it for a while, and I've noticed this trend whenever there's like a new wave of players, people are like, oh great, free to play, nice, but they played and most of them never make it to the expansions, which is sad because those two expansions, especially Heart of Thorns, is one of my favorite MMO expansions, period. Just the change in style, the immediate shift in difficulty, you know, and the map design. I just wish more people gave it a chance. Okay, let's see, where are we? Seoper says, need to wait till October 15 and wait for reviews. I guess you guys are talking about ArcheAge. Anonymous says the game is reminding more and more about MapleStory 2 for some reason, but in a good way. Well, MapleStory had controller support, so, you know, if Astellia had controller support, maybe that'll make some people happy too. And I'm in the level 50 zone, by the way. So you can see it's like lots of deserty areas, and yeah, maybe this part will remind you of Bless a little bit in terms of environments and things like that. I have a bunch of quests to do here. What quests are these? Arenal Spirit, the orange one, and that's gonna give me a new Astel Grimoire. And yeah, you guys want to do this too, because a lot of these important quests will give you Astels. And if I haven't mentioned this already, the way you increase your character stats here, like stat points, the way you get stat points is by the number of Astels owned. Like it says right there on the tooltip, stat points increase as the number of owned Astels increase. So try and get as many Astel companions as you can if you want to, you know, try and really optimize and maximize your stat output here. Okay, back to the chat. Let's see. Sorwild. Sorry if I get your name wrong. Says, how's the optimization? It's okay for me. It's only okay. And the reason it's okay is because I had to do things to it. Like, I'm not kidding. Under my advanced settings, I've got everything off. Like if you go back and if you click the card on the stream right now, you can see the first stream that I did, hit start. You would see that I started off with everything. Bloom, VFX, lens effects, post-processing. That's how the game looked then, and this is how it looks now. For me, it runs better, it performs better, less stuttering, especially when I'm moving between zones. I can see I'm getting better FPS too, but you know, there are occasions like the dungeon run we did tonight, you will see it stutter here and there. Now, I've seen the comparisons with Bless Online. How is it as bad as Bless? You know, do you have to go to the GUI and you know, open GL settings and things like that? No. Good news for Astellia is it's not on that Bless Online level where it's unplayable. Bless for me was unplayable for the first like 3 days until like I don't know how many patches, and I had to go into the INI file settings and shit like that. Astellia doesn't have the problem, so don't worry about it, and just make sure to really tweak your settings and turn off the stuff that you don't need. Let's see. Chuck Norris. Hey, Chuck. He says, how is this compared to Bless? Oh, shit. I just answered that. I would say it has a better story, better presentation of the game. In terms of art, even, you know, the dialogue in some ways, the voice acting is way better. Like, I'm thinking about my experience with Bless now, having streamed it for like a month for my review, and the one thing that comes to mind is like the first 10 levels. All the same lady NPC sounded like she recorded it in a bathroom. Like, that's the thing that came out. And then with Bless, if you guys remember, whenever you leveled up, they even got the typo wrong, you know? You have hit 3 level instead of you have hit level 3. So your entire localization team was bad. Astellia, you know, it's one of the good ones in terms of their localization. I've got no problems with that. Core gameplay content, I think the combat's better. They've done the combo. See, Bless had this wild thing with their chain sort of combo system where you need to press R and E, and, you know, for a mini game it sort of worked, I guess, but after a while it got really tiring. And I found myself liking the Berserker in Bless a lot because there was more action combat. That's something I want to play. With Astellia, I wish it was action combat, because that would take it up a notch and, you know, overtake Terra in terms of what it offers in an engaging combat system. Now, if it had Terra's combat with the Astels system, this would be a hit. Honestly, this would be a hit. I would play it. I would play it more than what I would. But it's not. Dungeons are okay. I think I spent most of my time in dungeons, and in parties it can be fun. Solo, it's a bit of a drag if you join me during the stream during my dungeon run, so hey. Okay, let's see, scroll up some more. Let's try and answer some questions here. Chuck says, another Korean MMO that will become free to play and pay to win. We'll have to wait and see, but you know, that's like the graveyard marker for most MMOs that come from Korea. They always have that cloud looming over them. This is going to go free to play, this is going to go pay to win. With Astellia, see, the one thing that they've done very early on is come out, especially that panel at PAX East, I think, and they said it right there. No pay to win, play to win. The problem is, these are the Western publishers, Baradhor and EA, the American guys, right? They have come out and said that publicly, and that is in the public space. For games like BDO and Arcade had Tryon, but never mind them. Axel Games, you'll never see them come out and say something like that. With BDO, you'll never see like Pearl Abyss or Cacao Games do something like that in the West, where they come out and make a statement like that. They don't do it because they know there will come a point where it's going to bite them in the ass. Might as well keep quiet, go about your business, and make your money. That's how, you know, studios like Pearl Abyss and Cacao works. With Baradhor and EA, I just don't get that sort of similar sense. I think they really want to give this a shot. And Studio 8, which is the Korean side, way back in Korea for Astellia, I think they sort of see the value in making the game so drastically different from the Korean version. And I think the next 3 months is going to be crucial to see how many people play Astellia, how many are on the subscription, how many bought these packs, and we'll take a look at player numbers. Now, the key thing for Baradhor is the content that's already on the Korean version, which is pretty new, by the way. I think they only came out November 2018, I think. I'm not sure how much content or a roadmap there is down the line. Is there a new expansion coming out? Are there new zones? I know there's new Astels, and there's an in-game event coming soon. But in the next 3 to 6 months, they have to get that roadmap out. They have to put out content and you know, keep people here. Because, unfortunately, and this got nothing to do with core gameplay or whatever, the timing of this release is pretty damn unfortunate. Now, I don't want to blame Astellia because they announced their launch date way earlier, but it's in between like WoW Classic, which is already out, and then you've got Arcade Unchained in a couple of weeks, and Then next month, October, you've got other games putting out new content. Star Wars is back on the menu. Lord of the Rings Online is back on the menu. There's a lot going on in the next couple of months, and Astellia really needs to establish itself. Because let's not forget, people will play this, and then they'll always go back to their usual games. BDO, ArcAge, whatever Korean games people came from, BNS. So crucial time ahead. We shall wait and see. I'm excited. Look, I cover MMOs on my channel. I cover MMO news, reviews, and all that stuff. So these things are what really interests me. So I'll be here to cover it, good or bad. Okay, any questions? Let's see. No, I think I've covered it all. Ooh, hang on. No, this Eero. Hello, Eero. I know I'm very late with this. Almost an hour late, I think. Bro, so would you recommend the game to someone that's new to MMOs? Sure. Although, I mean, if you're new, I would say start off with a free-to-play game first, something that's easy to get into. And it's also down to your preference. I mean, you probably know the difference between a Western-themed MMO or Korean MMO, so there's always going to be different stuff about them that you may want to be aware of. If you don't mind cash shop and if you don't mind paywalls, then I'd say, try and dip your hands everywhere you can. Is Astellia okay for new players to the genre? Sure, absolutely. I just wish like the tutorial system was better. There's lots of systems in here that could use better explaining. Otherwise, they're hidden behind the question mark, which a lot of people don't use. Like in my own guild and in World Chat, you see people asking very basic questions, which are all here on the help menu. The full thing. You can read up about everything in here. Now, it's not great because it's not in-depth. It just sounds like really baseline, borderline, basic stuff. But I think it's okay. If you're new to the game, you can definitely pick Astellia as something to try. Okay, I'm going to scroll down to the most recent stuff now. Okay, Mazidi says, what class uses dual sword? That would be the assassin. Let's see if we have an assassin nearby. Nope, I'm the only one. See, hang on. Let's see. Rife. Rife is a warrior just like me. Never mind. That's Ida. Never mind. Sorry, no assassins. Yeah, but I think assassins are dual daggers. Seoper says now Path of Fire gives hot in Guild Wars. It's even better. Yeah. Hey, we got Lynchito. Hey, Lynch. She says, hey, Adrian, just a question. How is the tanking in this game? Oh, it's decent, actually. Like, I've tanked maybe 3 or 4 dungeons so far. Aggro management, I mean, is easy. You just need to be on the top of the aggro food chain, and you've got all the skills that you need. Like, this one puts you at the highest threat level. You've got insta-pulls. You've got AoE threat pulls and taunts. Now, the only difference is the game. This is one way that Astellia is going to make money. So you have preset builds, right? So if you're leveling, you have all these skill points to spend, and I've put all of them into like DPS skills. Now DPS, you can do as much DPS as you want, and that's going to have like the initial threat aggro, but tanks will always have some skills that are generating threat, like this one, Whirlwind, in addition to your taunts and roar. So losing aggro is not going to be a problem for tanks in this game. Now the problem comes in the form of where do you spend your points if you're a tank? That's where you need preset settings, so you can save your DPS spent build in one, but if you want to have a tanking one, whoops, paywall, you need 15 bucks. I mean, if you're talking about gems, that's the currency, I think. That's $15 US for 150 gems. Or you could spend 1,500 Xander, which can be earned in-game from World Avalon or, other content. I've only got 347, so. I want this as a tank because that's what happens when you play a sort of a dual class role. When you're solo, you're DPS. When you're in dungeons, you're expected to tank, but you've already spent all your skill points on like enhancing your DPS skills. I mean, you could totally tank in all your DPS enhanced skills too, but for me, like I would always prioritize faster cooldowns or faster powers on these threat generators or self heals or oh shit buttons that maybe in legendary dungeons, which are not released yet, but legendary will be the highest tier of dungeons that you can run. You may never know. You may need some of that. I always like to have multiple builds for almost every MMO class that I play, but this one's behind a paywall. So this then comes to the next point that I want to make, that, you know, this is one of the trade-offs that we get. Astellia is not a free-to-play game, so to compensate, you know, they're gonna nickel and dime you everywhere just to make some money. One of that is your deck. You have 33 Astels, and you can only put how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can only put 8 on your deck, and you know, for different situations, you may want to have 2 decks. If you want to have a second deck, you need it to pay. Now, I've already got 1 summoned. So I bought my second deck already because I've got 2 deck effect builds that I'm rocking right now. And that cost me 15 bucks. So if I want a third deck, it's locked. There you go, 15 bucks. And you can have a total of 5. So things like an additional hotbar deck and additional preset builds, these are all paywalled. So that's the trade-off for the game not being free to play and pay to win. Okay, let's see. I'm on Raw. Says also, yeah, I'm guessing they want to be the Warframe of MMOs if they really want to kill pay-to-win aspects, but they are buy-to-play, though not free-to-play. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. And Warframe's a good comparison, actually, because Warframe, excuse me, you know, where I got to Warframe, it got pretty repetitive and grindy. And I'm going to be honest, Astellia is exactly the same. There's a ton of grindy stuff that you will do, and I just spent the last 2 hours on stream talking about that already, so you guys might need to rewind and watch a little bit, depending on when you join the stream. Amon says, what the hell is a Cobalt Blue Rota? Rota is the first companion that you get. That's her name. She's a...
Is it time to work?
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but Cobalt Blue simply means the skin. So if you want to change your skin, you go under Astral Skin, and I have the Cobalt Blue one, but otherwise she's just known as Rota or Rota Rare. That means the rarity, the grade, how many stars is she, and that's just going to, you know, change the outfit real quick. So that's basically it. Okay, any other questions? Let's see. You did the news vid and Astellia came up. You said it would no longer have packages, but it's still under the front row options. Yeah, when the game launches, packages are gone. So the problem with my news vid was I recorded that the Astellia segment thinking that the game was going to launch on the 27th. It's already the 29th here in Malaysia, which is where I'm at. So Astellia delayed their launch by 1 day. So when I recorded that narrative, that portion of the video, I hadn't found out that Astellia delayed their launch. So I was kind of, oh, okay, well, the packs are still there. But you guys have like less than, what, 6 hours now? Yeah, the game launches in 6 hours. So if there's anybody watching this, and if you think you're going to be jumping into Astellia, and you want like the mount and this armor and the skin, and let me go up here, product vault, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you get too. Norton's Favor, extra character slot. Totally go for it. Is it worth the money? Oh, see, I want to save that. I want to save that because that's for my review. And I want to get you guys to come back to watch the full review, right? So I'm not going to give away anything else. Let's see. Graspy says new Lotra expansion October 29 looks like. Oh. Looks... Okay, I get it. New Lotra expansion on the 29 looks like. Yeah. 29th October, which is, I believe, Star Wars' expansion comes out on the 27th. I think... So I'm screwed there. It's got to be one or the other, because if I start Star Wars for the review, I can't do both. Like, I'm bad at multitasking MMO levelings and shit like that. So I don't know. I may do a poll on my Discord, Star Wars or Lotro. It's gonna be a tough one. Okay, and I think I've really got to everybody here. And again, this is the tail end of the stream, guys. If I missed any questions in there, I do apologize. Chat was moving pretty fast, and I did try to answer as much as possible. Anyway, but if there's any other questions that you guys have post the stream, you can always leave them in the comment section. I'll come back tomorrow morning over a cup of coffee and answer you guys. Alternatively, you guys can hop into my Discord. There's a link down below. You guys don't need to say anything. You guys can lurk if you want. And any other Astellia questions, feel free to ask. If you plan to play Astellia, and if you are in the Oceanic region, you're in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Malaysia, wherever, as long as it's Oceanic, you want to join the Deep Guild, come on in. We are deep on the North American server, and just message. No, I think you can just search for guild, search deep, and just apply. We're at 35 out of 50 right now, so we are limited slots, but we can upgrade that later on. That's for the guild leaders to decide. And funny story about that, deep is these are the same guys that I used to rock and roll with in Guild Wars 2, World vs. World, on the North American server. And I just, by sheer luck, found them again here. And it's the same World vs. World commander that I used to run too, Proctologist, so pretty happy about that. Alright guys, that's it from me. I will see you guys sometime tomorrow, maybe for an Arcage Unchained video or stream. I'm going to go to bed and do the Arcage PDS sometime tomorrow. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and if you're jumping into Astellia later in the day, for those of you in the West, launches in about 6 hours, have fun, and don't stress it, don't rush it. I mean, you can if you want to get to 50 fast, but it's going to be fast anyway. And again, for tips, don't buy anything at the auction house. Take your time. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And I think you guys can also join the official Astellia Discord, because you can get so much answers or tips and tricks faster that way, almost instantly, because there's lots of people on it. All right, guys, I'm out. To everybody in chat, I'm on Raw. Says go sleep and play tomorrow. I work at night. Oh, geez. Yeah, thanks for the stream. No problem, you guys. Minicorn says thanks for the stream. Have good dreams. I hardly dream these days, but I will do. Thank you. Graspy says peace out. Yeah, everybody that jumped in today, thank you so much. I will see you guys sometime soon. Later, everybody.